Alright. I'm sure by this point everyone is sick and tired of hearing about superhero movies. I mean, considering their track record as of late, I don't blame you. But last month, one came out which finally feels less like boring muck made to fill the gap until the next Avengers movie, and more like an actual movie. I'm of course talking about Superman. My name is Artie, and this is my thing of the month. Let's get into it. Alright, let's talk concept. Or rather, why this particular DC movie is so special. I'm sure the DCEU needs no introduction. Following the monumental success of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, starting with Iron Man back in 2008, DC finally decided to get its act together and start pumping out movies. Starting with Man of Steel in 2013, it and other movies like Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, Justice League, Aquaman and Black Adam all came together to form DC's very own cinematic universe. Unfortunately for them, their movies kinda sucked. There were a few standouts. The first Shazam movie was pretty fun, The Suicide Squad was brilliant, and Blue Beetle was absolutely awesome. But for the most part, the DCEU was absolutely no match for the MCU. That's where James Gunn comes in, director of The Suicide Squad, the Peacemaker TV show, and even Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He was hired by DC to turn their failing cinematic universe around. Whilst originally I believe the plan was to try and go off what was already in place, Gunn clearly realised that it would be much easier just to start from scratch, and so now we have the new DCU, an entirely new continuity, with a couple of exceptions, which starts with this movie, Superman. Right from the first trailer, it was pretty clear that this was going to be completely unlike Man of Steel in almost every way, obviously taking much more inspiration from Golden Age comics and the original Superman movies with Christopher Reeve, rather than leaning into the edginess of the early 2010s. It's no wonder the film was originally going to be called Superman Legacy. There's quite a bit I want to talk about here, so let's start with one of the most obvious things, the visuals. Alright, do me a favour and look at this movie. It is absolutely gorgeous. The colours are really vibrant without looking oversaturated, and this little film grain texture on top really gives Superman a distinctive and extremely refreshing visual style. I really hope we get to see more movies that look like this in the future. The sets are great as well, in particular the Fortress of Solitude, which just looks absolutely stunning, and honestly Lois Lane's apartment, which just looks like a realistic lived-in space, and this scene here has really nice lighting. The big thing for me though was the costumes. Mainly, they gave Superman his stupid outside pants back. Oh, how I missed you, external pants. Another really cool thing with Superman is that his actor, David Corenswet, actually looks like both Clark Kent and Superman. Usually Superman actors do a great job of looking like a big strong superhero, but look a bit out of place in the real world as Clark Kent. So I'm really glad that an actor was chosen who not only does a great job of playing the character, but also just looks good as both people. The costumes for the other characters are great too, with Mr. Terrific in particular having an incredible outfit that looks like it's ripped straight from the comics. In fact, most of the things in this movie look like they're straight from the comics, and like I mentioned earlier, it's pretty clear that Gunn went hard on the Golden Age inspirations. Don't get me wrong, I do still love the visuals of the grittier superhero movies like the Batman, Justice League, and even Fantastic.
Say that again?
But it's just incredibly refreshing to see a movie like this go back to its roots and have a much more vibrant, hopeful style, both visually and tonally. Superman's plot is absolutely awesome and manages to embrace the silliness of the Golden Age comics while still telling a really solid modern story. Lex Luthor is the villain, and he's such a perfect villain to usher in DC's new era. He's almost comically evil, with his classic obsession with getting rid of Superman completely taking him over. He's still incredibly smart though, and does a brilliant job of acting as a perfect character foil to Superman. He's played by Nicholas Hoult, who was absolutely perfect for this role. It also does a great job of introducing the new DCU, bringing in the Justice Gang, which features Guy Gardner Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific, all of whom are absolutely awesome. Guy Gardner and Mr. Terrific especially so. Guy is played by Nathan Fillion, who's played Hal Jordan in animated movies in the past, and does a great job at portraying how Guy is a super annoying, cocky person, but someone who clearly cares deep down. Mr. Terrific is played by Eddie Gathegi, and I was so excited to see this character finally get some love. Insanely underrated dude, and I'm so glad that he was portrayed so well in the movie. In the quote-unquote real world, we've also got Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen working aside Clark at the Daily Planet. Lois, played by Rachel Brosnahan, is great, and her chemistry with Clark is exceptional. It really helps that they're already into a relationship by the time the movie starts, unlike in Man of Steel, where they try to set them up completely during the course of the movie, and it feels really forced. Jimmy Olsen, meanwhile, played by Skylar Gisondo, is great, and I love how silly he is, and I cannot wait to see more of him. Speaking of seeing more, let's talk real briefly about the wider DCU. There have already been a heap of projects announced for the DCU, and there are a lot that I'm really excited for. It seems like there's going to be a lot of branching out here, with many of the projects straying from the traditional action movie superhero genre and delving more into some more interesting ideas. For example, we've got Clayface coming next year, which is apparently going to lean into the body horror aspects of the character. There's also the Lanterns show, which looks like it's going to be a detective story rather than a cosmic action kind of deal. The ones I'm personally most excited for are the Batman movie, The Brave and the Bold, which is going to delve into Bruce's relationship with his son Damian, and which, judging by the title, will hopefully have some of the Golden Age cartoony aspects of the animated series with the same name, as well as the Blue Beetle animated series, which I'm just looking forward to because it means we get to see more Jaime Reyes. I'm really excited to see where the DCU is going to go, and I'm looking forward to all of the really cool looking projects that seem like they're going to come of it. Overall though, Superman is a brilliant introduction to James Gunn's new DCU and serves as a refreshing take on the idea of a superhero movie by looking back to a time before having gritty, grounded movies being the norm. It's not a movie that feels ashamed of its comic origins like Man of Steel does, and I personally cannot wait to see more movies just like this. That's precisely why Superman is my thing of the month. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, all that jazz, and check out the weekly blog on contentunavailable.net. Until then though, I'll see you at some point in the future. Goodbye.